Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt like something or someone was watching back? Throughout history, people from all over the world have reported strange lights, massive crafts, and eerie encounters that defy explanation. Some say it's military technology, others believe it's something far more mysterious. But what if the truth is even stranger? Today, we're diving into 7 chilling UFO sightings that remain completely unexplained. And trust me, you won't look at the sky the same way again. The Hudson Valley Wave. Picture this. It's a quiet evening in the Hudson Valley, New York. You're relaxing on your porch, gazing up at the night sky, when suddenly, a massive V-shaped formation of glowing lights glides silently overhead. No engine noise, no rush of wind, just an eerie silence as the lights hover, shift, and then vanish into the darkness. Now imagine this happening thousands of times over the course of 4 years. Between 1982 and 1986, more than 5,000 people across New York's Hudson Valley reported witnessing enormous, structured craft flying low and slow over homes, highways, and fields. Some described it as a floating city of lights, others as a boomerang-shaped craft pulsating in eerie reds, blues, and whites. On March 24, 1983, one of the most famous mass sightings occurred when hundreds of people spotted a UFO so large, it covered the entire sky. Authorities scrambled for explanations, suggesting it could be a squadron of small planes flying in formation. But those who saw it up close weren't buying it. Witnesses described a solid object, not individual aircraft. And how do you explain the way it hovered motionless for minutes before suddenly accelerating out of sight at impossible speeds? To this day, the Hudson Valley Wave remains one of the most well-documented and chilling UFO flaps in history. Was it secret military technology? A well-orchestrated hoax, or something not of this world? No one knows. And that's the scariest part. The Shag Harbor Incident. Imagine a quiet fishing village in Nova Scotia, where the biggest concerns are the tides and the daily catch. Now, imagine that peace being shattered when a glowing object streaks across the night sky and crashes into the icy Atlantic waters. That's exactly what happened on October 4, 1967, in the town of Shag Harbor, a night that would go down in history as Canada's most baffling UFO mystery. It all began just after 11 p.m., when multiple eyewitnesses, including fishermen, airline pilots, and even the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, reported a large, illuminated object plunging into the water. A loud whistling sound was followed by a thunderous boom, and then, silence. What was left was a glowing yellow foam floating on the water's surface. Authorities acted fast, launching a full-scale rescue operation assuming a plane had crashed, but after days of searching, no wreckage, no bodies, nothing was ever found. Sonar scans revealed an unidentified object sitting on the ocean floor, but before it could be properly investigated, it vanished without a trace. The Canadian government officially classified the event as a UFO crash, making it one of the only documented cases where authorities acknowledged an unidentified flying object went down. No logical explanation was ever given. No missing planes, no military operations, nothing. So what really crashed into Shag Harbor that night? A secret experiment, an alien craft, or something far stranger lurking beneath the waves? To this day, the mystery remains unsolved. The Westall Encounter, 1966. Imagine you're in school, sitting through another dull lesson, when suddenly, a shadow passes over the classroom window. Students and teachers rush outside, shielding their eyes from the midday sun, and then they see it. A silvery, disc-shaped object hovering just beyond the schoolyard, gliding silently above the open fields. Then, without warning, it dips, lands, and sits motionless. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. This actually happened on April 6, 1966, at Westall High School in Melbourne, Australia. More than 200 students and faculty stood frozen in shock as a metallic craft, roughly the size of 2 cars, descended into a nearby paddock. A few brave students sprinted toward it, but before they could get close, it suddenly shot back into the sky at an impossible speed, disappearing into the distance. As if that wasn't strange enough, military personnel and government officials arrived within hours, quickly cordoning off the area. Students were interrogated, teachers were silenced, and the entire event was swiftly buried. Witnesses were warned never to speak of what they saw, with some even claiming that their statements were forcibly changed. No official explanation has ever been given. No weather balloons, no experimental aircraft, nothing. Yet those who were there never forgot what they saw. Over 5 decades later, former students and teachers still recall the unearthly craft with absolute certainty. What landed near Westall High School that day? A military test? A case of mass hysteria? Or did hundreds of school children witness something truly out of this world? Whatever the truth is, someone doesn't want us to know. The Rendlesham Forest Incident. It was Christmas night 1980, at a US military base in England when something unimaginable happened. The air was still, the forest was silent, and then, strange lights began flickering between the trees. What followed remains one of the most bizarre and chilling UFO encounters in military history. Just after midnight on December 26, U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge spotted a glowing object descending into the dense trees of Rendlesham Forest. Thinking it might be a downed aircraft, a security team was sent to investigate, but what they found was nothing human-made. As they approached, they saw a metallic triangular craft hovering above the ground, its surface covered in strange hieroglyph-like symbols. It emitted a pulsing light, casting eerie shadows through the trees. One officer, Sergeant Jim Peniston, claimed he touched the craft, feeling a charged energy vibrating through it. And then, it was gone, vanishing into the night sky at an impossible speed. But the nightmare wasn't over. The following night, the lights returned. This time, multiple high-ranking officers, including Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, witnessed red orbs darting through the sky and a beam of light being directed down to the base. Even their radio communications mysteriously cut out. The British Ministry of Defense dismissed the event as misidentified lights or a meteor, but the witness reports, audio recordings, and physical evidence tell a different story. Why was the military so quick to cover it up? And what was that craft doing in Rendlesham Forest that night? Over 40 years later, the Rendlesham Forest incident remains one of the most chilling and well-documented UFO encounters ever recorded. The Phoenix Lights. Imagine stepping outside on a warm Arizona night, expecting to see the usual twinkling stars. But instead you see a massive, silent formation of lights slowly gliding across the sky. No sound, no explanation, just an enormous V-shaped craft, blocking out the stars as it moves over the city. This wasn't the imagination of one or two people. This was witnessed by thousands across Arizona, Nevada, and even parts of Mexico on March 13, 1997. People described the object as a mile wide, moving in perfect formation, defying everything we know about aviation. Some said it was so low they could see the structure between the lights, confirming it wasn't just a formation of separate aircraft. For 3 full hours, the mysterious lights hovered, drifted, and then vanished. Calls flooded police stations, news outlets, and even military bases, but no one had an answer. The U.S. Air Force later claimed the lights were just military flares dropped during a training exercise, but that explanation didn't sit well with eyewitnesses, including pilots, police officers, and even the governor of Arizona himself. In a bizarre twist, then Governor Fife Symington initially mocked the sightings, but years later he admitted that he too had seen the craft and believed it was otherworldly. To this day, the Phoenix Lights remain one of the most massive and compelling UFO sightings ever recorded. Were they a secret military experiment, an extraterrestrial flyover, or something far more mysterious? Whatever the truth is, it's been kept in the dark, just like the sky that night. The O'Hare Airport sighting. It was just another busy afternoon at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, until air traffic controllers, pilots, and ground crew all witnessed something that defied logic. Hovering just above Gate C-17 in broad daylight was a perfectly round metallic disc silently spinning in place. No wings, no visible propulsion, just an eerie, hovering craft that shouldn't have been there. For nearly 5 minutes, stunned airport employees and passengers watched in disbelief as the object remained motionless, defying the strong winds that should have sent it tumbling. Then, in an instant, it shot straight up through the clouds, so fast it punched a hole through them, leaving a gaping circular gap. United Airlines employees frantically reported the sighting to the FAA, but strangely, no radar data could confirm the object's presence. The FAA dismissed the event, claiming it was simply a weather phenomenon, but the witnesses weren't buying it. Experienced pilots and aviation staff, people who knew the skies better than anyone, were adamant this was not a reflection, a plane, or anything they had ever seen before. Even more suspicious, United Airlines ordered its employees to keep quiet and no official investigation was ever launched. But leaked reports made their way to the public, turning the O'Hare Airport sighting into one of the most credible UFO encounters in modern history. So what really hovered over one of the world's busiest airports that day? A top-secret craft? An extraterrestrial visitor? Or something else entirely? Whatever it was, it left in a way no human-made machine ever could. The Stephenville Sightings. Picture a quiet evening in Stephenville, Texas, a small town where the biggest excitement usually comes from Friday night football. But on January 8, 2008, the town became the center of one of the most baffling UFO sightings in modern history. It started as a series of bright, white lights stretching across the sky, moving in absolute silence. But what happened next sent chills down the spines of hundreds of witnesses, including experienced pilots, local law enforcement, and even a county constable. The lights reconfigured into a massive, mile-wide craft, moving at impossible speeds, zigzagging through the air before vanishing without a sound. Some described it as larger than a football field, flying low enough to see its structure. Others saw it outrun fighter jets that appeared to be in pursuit. The U.S. Air Force initially denied having any planes in the area, but just days later they changed their story, claiming that 10 fighter jets were conducting a training exercise. But that explanation didn't match what the witnesses saw. A craft so enormous, so fast, and so utterly unlike anything known to mankind. Radar data later confirmed that an unidentified object had indeed been in the area, traveling at speeds no known aircraft could achieve. The government, as expected, brushed it off. But the people of Stephenville knew what they saw, and it wasn't just military jets. To this day, the Stephenville sightings remain one of the most well-documented and chilling UFO encounters in history. A secret experiment, an alien craft, or something even stranger. Whatever flew over Texas that night, it was beyond anything we've ever seen before. So what do you think? Are these just misidentified objects, secret military experiments, or actual proof that we're not alone? The truth is still out there waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unexplained, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-blowing mysteries and futuristic discoveries. And let us know in the comments, which of these UFO sightings do you think is the most convincing? Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing a massive planet hurtling toward us, unstoppable, unavoidable, and ready to end life as we know it. No warning, no way to stop it, just a countdown to catastrophe. Sounds like science fiction, right? But rogue planets, wandering, homeless worlds drifting through space, are very real. And if one were on a collision course with Earth, what would happen? Could we survive? Could we stop it? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into one of the most terrifying what-if scenarios in cosmic history. Let's find out. What is a rogue planet? Imagine a planet drifting alone through the cold, endless void of space. No sun to warm it, no orbit to follow, just a cosmic wanderer lost in the abyss. These are rogue planets, the mysterious loners of the universe. Unlike Earth, which faithfully orbits the sun, rogue planets have no home, no system, no star to call their own. They roam freely through the galaxy, traveling at mind-blowing speeds, completely untethered to anything. But how do these planets become rogue in the first place? Some of them start out like normal planets, forming around a star just like Earth, Jupiter, or Mars. But then, something goes terribly wrong. A massive cosmic event like a nearby supernova explosion, a close encounter with a larger planet, or a gravitational slingshot from its own sun kicks them out of their solar system entirely. Imagine Earth suddenly getting thrown out of the solar system and flung into the dark, unknown. Terrifying, right? Other rogue planets may have never belonged to a solar system at all. Some astronomers believe they could have formed directly from swirling gas and dust in deep space, much like stars, but without enough mass to ignite into a sun. That means these planets were born as wanderers, destined to forever drift through the coldest, darkest regions of space. And here's the real kicker. Scientists believe there could be billions, if not trillions, of these planets in our galaxy alone. Some may be small and frozen like Pluto. Others could be massive gas giants, even bigger than Jupiter. But the biggest question is, could one of them be heading toward Earth right now? How likely is a collision with Earth? All right, let's get to the real question. Could a rogue planet actually collide with Earth? I mean, space is massive, but with billions of these wanderers floating around, isn't it just a matter of time before one crosses our path? Well, here's the good news. The chances of that happening are ridiculously low. Space isn't just big, it's mind-blowingly, impossibly, absurdly huge. Even within our own solar system, planets are separated by millions, sometimes billions of miles. Now, imagine trying to hit a specific grain of sand on a beach by throwing another grain of sand from a mile away. That's how unlikely it is for a rogue planet to randomly collide with Earth. But the odds aren't zero. If a rogue planet were to drift close enough to our solar system, things could get messy, even if it doesn't hit Earth directly. Why? Because gravity is a cosmic troublemaker. A massive rogue planet passing near us could disrupt planetary orbits, pull asteroids out of the asteroid belt, or even mess with Earth's own path around the sun. Now here's a terrifying thought. What if a rogue planet entered our solar system and got stuck? Instead of a direct impact, it could settle into a highly unstable orbit, causing long-term chaos. Imagine Earth suddenly shifting its orbit just slightly. That could mean extreme climate changes, rising sea levels, and devastating natural disasters. So, while an actual impact is insanely unlikely, a near miss could still be catastrophic. And with billions of rogue planets out there, the question isn't just if one will pass by, but when. What would happen before the impact? What if a rogue planet is headed straight for Earth? But before it smashes into us like a cosmic wrecking ball, we'd see the warning signs, and trust me, they wouldn't be subtle. First, astronomers would spot it months or even years in advance. At first, it would just be a tiny speck in the night sky, barely noticeable. But as it barreled toward us at breakneck speed, that speck would grow brighter, bigger, and way more terrifying. Scientists would be scrambling to calculate its trajectory, hoping, praying that it might miss us. Then, the real chaos begins. As the rogue planet gets closer, its gravity would start messing with Earth. The oceans would rise and fall in unpredictable ways, triggering devastating tsunamis and floods. The moon, our trusty sidekick, could be pulled into a slightly different orbit, throwing off tides, weather patterns, and maybe even Earth's rotation. But it doesn't stop there. The rogue planet's gravitational pull could ignite a wave of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions worldwide. The sky might start to change color due to atmospheric disturbances, and some areas could experience violent, unpredictable storms. Imagine lightning storms stretching for miles with hurricane-force winds tearing through cities long before the planet even arrives. And as it gets even closer, all eyes would be on the sky. It would dominate the horizon, a massive, looming shadow, glowing eerily from reflected sunlight. At this point, there would be no escape, no way to stop it. The only thing left? Brace for impact. The moment of collision. This is it, the moment everything changes. The rogue planet has arrived and there's no stopping it, no escape, no second chances. The only thing left to do is watch the sky and pray. As the planet enters Earth's atmosphere, it's moving at tens of thousands of miles per hour, faster than any bullet, faster than anything humans have ever seen. The sky ignites as a fireball larger than entire continents blazes through the heavens. The atmosphere superheats in seconds, turning the very air into a weapon. Winds stronger than any hurricane rip through cities, flattening everything in their path before the impact even happens. Then, the unthinkable. The rogue planet slams into Earth with unimaginable force, unleashing an explosion millions of times stronger than the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. The shockwave alone incinerates everything within thousands of miles. Mountains vaporize, oceans boil away instantly, skyscrapers crumble to dust before they even hit the ground. And then comes the second wave of destruction. A mega tsunami, thousands of feet high, crashes across continents, swallowing entire countries. A global earthquake shakes the planet's core, causing volcanoes to erupt simultaneously across the world. The Earth itself cracks apart, sending molten rock and debris into space. And just when it seems like things can't get worse, they do. The entire sky goes dark. Ash and debris fill the atmosphere, blocking out the sun for years, maybe even centuries. Temperatures plummet. The world is left in an endless winter, a dead, frozen wasteland. Could humanity survive? Let's be honest, surviving a direct collision with a rogue planet? Nearly impossible. But what about after the impact? Could anyone, anything, make it through the ultimate extinction event? First off, if you were anywhere near ground zero, there's no chance. The impact would have vaporized everything instantly. People, buildings, entire cities, gone in the blink of an eye. But what about those in deep underground bunkers, nuclear silos, or submarines at the bottom of the ocean? They might survive for a while. But then comes the long-term nightmare. The sky is now choked with ash and debris, blocking the sun for years, maybe centuries. With no sunlight, plants die. Without plants, the entire food chain collapses. Temperatures plummet, turning Earth into a frozen, lifeless wasteland. No crops, no animals, no fresh air. The world becomes a graveyard of ice and fire. But humans are resilient. Some small groups might make it, relying on underground farms, stockpiled food, or geothermal energy. Maybe a handful of scientists, billionaires, or government officials sealed away in hidden bunkers would survive, watching the dead world above from their screens. And then there's one final possibility, leaving Earth entirely. If we had enough time, could we have escaped? Built a colony on the moon, Mars, a space station floating above the disaster? Right now, we're nowhere near prepared. But in the future, maybe. So could humanity survive? A few might. But the world we once knew, that would be gone forever. Can we prevent this? We've talked about what happens if a rogue planet collides with Earth. But here's the real question. Can we actually stop it? Can humanity pull off the ultimate sci-fi rescue mission and prevent total annihilation? Well, not really, at least not yet. Unlike asteroids, which we have plans to deflect using nuclear explosions or kinetic impactors, a planet-sized object is on a completely different level. You can't just blow up a planet like in the movies. Not even with every nuclear bomb on Earth. It would be like throwing a firecracker at a freight train and hoping it stops. So, what's the alternative? Deflection. If we spotted a rogue planet early enough, we're talking decades or even centuries in advance, we might have time to alter its trajectory. Some scientists have theorized using gravitational tractors, huge spacecraft that hover near the planet and slowly pull it off course using gravity. Sounds cool, but it would take massive amounts of time and energy. Time we probably wouldn't have. Another idea? Building a fleet of planet-sized rockets to push Earth out of the way. Yes, you read that right. Instead of stopping the rogue planet, we move Earth itself. Sound insane? Well, scientists have actually proposed using massive nuclear pulse propulsion to shift Earth's orbit if we ever faced a cosmic disaster. Wild, right? But let's be real. With today's technology, we'd be helpless. Our best hope? Detect the threat early enough to evacuate Earth, and that means colonizing Mars, the Moon, or even space stations before it's too late. So, can we prevent it? Not now, maybe not ever. But if humanity wants to survive the next billion years, we better start thinking big. So, could a rogue planet really collide with Earth? Highly unlikely, but not impossible. And if it ever happened, the results would be catastrophic beyond imagination. Right now, we don't have the technology to stop it. But who knows? The future of space exploration might hold the key to saving our planet. If you love mind-blowing space theories and futuristic tech, make sure to subscribe to InnoVision Tech. Stay curious, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep exploring the unknown. Imagine looking up at the night sky, seeing endless stars, and realizing we know almost nothing about what's really out there. The universe is vast, mysterious, and terrifying, hiding secrets that could change everything we think we know. What if reality isn't real? What if something dangerous is lurking in the dark, watching us? Today, we're diving into the creepiest space theories that might actually be true, ideas so unsettling, they'll make you question your place in the cosmos. Buckle up, because after this you might never look at the universe the same way again. Ready? Let's begin. The false vacuum universe. Imagine the universe as a giant, peaceful bubble floating in an endless cosmic ocean. Everything we know, galaxies, stars, planets, and even us, exists inside this bubble. But what if I told you this bubble isn't as stable as we think? According to the false vacuum universe theory, our universe might just be a temporary, low-energy state, a false vacuum. And at any moment, without warning, it could pop. Here's how it works. If somewhere in the vast cosmos a tiny quantum event triggers the transition from this false vacuum to a more stable true vacuum, an invisible wave of destruction would expand at the speed of light. It wouldn't be an explosion, it wouldn't burn or shatter things, it would rewrite the very fabric of reality. Imagine flipping a light switch, and suddenly the laws of physics are completely different. The atoms in your body, gone. The stars, erased. The entire universe as we know it, vanished. The most terrifying part? If this process has already started somewhere, we'd never see it coming. It wouldn't send a warning, no flashing red lights, it would just happen. Scientists believe this is unlikely, but hey, the universe doesn't exactly send out newsletters to let us know when it's planning something big. So, could we be living on borrowed time? The truth is, we don't know. But if one day everything just blinks out of existence, well, guess we'll have our answer. The Great Filter. Alright, let's talk about something that has been haunting scientists for decades. Where are all the aliens? Think about it, the universe is massive. There are billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars surrounded by countless planets. Statistically, there should be millions of advanced civilizations out there, and yet, nothing. No signals, no spaceships, no cosmic neighbors stopping by for a chat. This eerie silence is called the Fermi Paradox, and the Great Filter might be the answer. The theory suggests that somewhere in the timeline of life's evolution, there's an almost impossible barrier that stops civilizations from advancing. Maybe life rarely starts in the first place. Maybe simple bacteria can exist, but complex, intelligent beings like us are incredibly rare. Or maybe, just maybe, every civilization that gets advanced enough eventually destroys itself. Nuclear war, climate catastrophe, rogue AI, pick your apocalypse. If the Great Filter is ahead of us, that means humanity hasn't reached this dangerous turning point yet, but it's coming. And if history tells us anything, we're not exactly great at avoiding self-destruction. If the filter is behind us, well, that means we're one of the very few civilizations to ever make it this far. So, the real question is, are we special, or are we doomed? The Dark Forest Hypothesis. Picture this. You're walking through a dense, dark forest at night. It's silent. Too silent. You know that dangerous predators could be lurking, hidden in the shadows. Do you call out to see if anyone is there? No, because if you make a sound, you might be the next thing to disappear. Now, apply this to the universe. This is the Dark Forest Hypothesis, a terrifying explanation for why we haven't found any alien civilizations yet. It suggests that the universe is like a dark forest filled with intelligent civilizations, but everyone is hiding, because making your presence known could be a death sentence. Think about it. If alien life exists, it's possible that advanced civilizations view any unknown life as a potential threat. And in a universe where the strong prey on the weak, the safest move is to eliminate others before they eliminate you. It's the ultimate survival strategy. Stay silent, stay hidden, and never trust anything that moves. So what does this mean for us? Well, we've already shouted our presence into the void. For decades we've been broadcasting signals, launching messages into space, basically announcing, hey, we're here. If the Dark Forest Hypothesis is true, that could be the biggest mistake we've ever made. What if something far more advanced, is out there listening? What if it's already on its way? Maybe, just maybe. The reason we hear nothing from the cosmos isn't because no one's there, it's because the ones who spoke up aren't around anymore. The Berserker Hypothesis. Imagine an ancient, advanced civilization, one so powerful that it no longer needs to conquer planets in person. Instead, it builds self-replicating machines, ruthless AI-driven probes designed to seek and destroy any emerging intelligent life before it becomes a threat. These are called berserkers, and according to the Berserker Hypothesis, they could already be out there. The idea is simple. Long ago, a hyper-advanced civilization could have sent out killer machines into the cosmos with one goal: eliminate all potential competition before it rises. These berserkers might roam the universe, scanning for signs of intelligent life, waiting for a signal that confirms a planet is inhabited. And once they detect it, they wipe it out. No negotiations, no mercy. Now let's consider Earth. We've been broadcasting our existence for decades: radio signals, satellite transmissions, even messages deliberately sent into deep space. If berserkers exist, they might have already heard us. What if that's why the universe is so silent? Maybe civilizations rise, send out their signals, and shortly after disappear. So what's stopping these berserkers from reaching us? Maybe nothing. Maybe they're already on their way. Or maybe they're already here. The holographic universe. What if I told you that everything you see, feel, and experience, your entire existence, isn't actually real? That you, me, the Earth, and the vast universe itself might just be a hologram. Sounds insane, right? Well, some scientists believe it's possible. The holographic universe theory suggests that our entire reality might be nothing more than a projection from a two-dimensional surface. Imagine a movie playing on a screen. Characters, depth, and motion all appear real, but they're just an illusion of light and information. According to this theory, our three-dimensional universe is a cosmic version of that movie where everything we experience is just a shadow of deeper physics we can't even perceive. And here's where things get creepy. Some evidence actually supports this idea. Scientists studying black holes found that all the information about what falls into them can be stored on their surface, not inside, just like a hologram. If this applies to black holes, what if the entire universe works the same way? Even weirder, quantum physics suggests that the universe is pixelated at the smallest scale, like a digital simulation. If that's true, then we might just be data running on some unfathomable cosmic system. If someone, or something, is running the program, would we even know? Or worse, what happens if they decide to pull the plug? The space animal hypothesis. For decades, people have reported unexplained objects in the sky, things that don't behave like normal aircraft or meteors. But what if some UFOs aren't alien ships at all? What if they're living creatures? The space animal hypothesis suggests that some of the strange things we see in the sky, blurry, shape-shifting objects moving in impossible ways, aren't spacecraft, but undiscovered life forms that exist in the upper atmosphere or even deep space. Think about Earth. We once believed nothing could survive in the deepest oceans, yet we found bizarre creatures thriving in extreme conditions. So why couldn't there be creatures adapted to living in space? Instead of flesh and blood, they might be made of plasma, or electromagnetic fields, floating undetected in the upper layers of our atmosphere, or gliding through the vacuum of space. If this is true, then maybe we're not just exploring space, we're intruding on someone else's home. And if these creatures are watching us, studying us, or even interacting in ways we can't yet understand, the real question is, are they friendly? Or are they just waiting for the right moment to let us know they're here? The universe is full of mysteries, some we may never understand, and others we might wish we never discovered. Are we alone? Or are we just one signal away from something finding us? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the creepiest space theories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a mind-blowing video. This is InnoVision Tech, bringing you the future, one theory at a time. See you in the next one, if the universe doesn't reset us first.